Hi guys, and welcome back to Crafty Quilting Designs. I hope you're well and having a fantastic day. It's morning here in Australia and happy Easter to you. Yay! Okay, I hope you have a really good one and a really restful time. Okay, and if anything is not good in your life right now, I pray that it actually gets better. And remember, everything has a time, so that too will move, that mountain too shall fall. All right, guys, so let's get started on today's quilt. So today we are using a layer cake. Yippee! Now, I love layer cakes, I really do. Sometimes I create my own. This layer cake is called Layer Cake Blues. Okay, and one layer cake, two quilts. So I was thinking, should I do this or not? Should I put myself through all this drama? Should I do it right now? I was like, yes, Karen, just do it. Just do it. Okay. Now this quilt, it can be done in a day, just one, obviously, because we're having two quilts on the one layer cake. But if you wanted to push yourself a little bit further and get it all done, you certainly can. Now it's easy peasy, no lining up of seams or anything like that, so it's just cutting and sewing. So I know you're going to love this one, guys. It's very beginner friendly, and what else can I say? It's just blooming fantastic. All right, I can give you a sneak peek now and show you what it looks like. So this is the first one that you actually start to make. This one here, and you can see why it's called Layer Cake Blues. There's lots of blues around it. And then the other one, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. I know you're going to love it. Okay, very, very beautiful, very, very easy. Now there's a pattern for you to download. The link will take you to the pattern, of course. And what else can I say? Have fun. Literally have fun with it. Leave me a message, comment down below. What do you think of the quilt? Do you have a layer cake? And by the way, guys, you can literally cut your own 10-inch squares and do this. You don't necessarily need to use a layer cake with it. So always bear that in mind. If you have yardage, you can use that too. All right. Always think about what you have in your stash that you can make. I'm just being silly. All right, guys. Let's get started and making these two beautiful quilts from one layer cake. See you later and happy quilting. I have my layer cake already open and we're going to get straight into this tutorial. Now it's quite simplistic to do, and it doesn't take long at all, as I've told you in the intro. So all I'm going to do literally is to cut my layer cake in half, and I'm just going to put that to the side because I've already done a few. You also need some yardage, and this fabric here is by Robert Kaufman, and I'm going to cut it into a 5-inch strip. As I said, this quilt comes together very quickly. It is literally a quilt in a day, of course minus your quilting, but definitely you can make the quilt top in a day. Now I'm just lining it up on the grid line so I can get literally a 5-inch strip, and I'm going to cut it into 5-inch squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double check just to make sure it's all lined up properly. Right, so once I've done that, I am now going to cut it into 5 inches squared, and I'm going to tell you then what the next step is. Now, I'm just smoothing that out because it's got a bit of a lump in the middle there. I want to get rid of that. Now, it's kept folded so that I can cut 2 at a time. You can obviously fold it again and cut the squares down a lot more quickly. But for demonstration purposes, I am simply just going to cut them down in 2s. Just make sure you count and you know exactly where your 5 inches stop. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. Now I'm going to take these and stack them to the side, okay? So what you need to do is have all of your rectangles stacked and your 5 inches stack. Okay, and all you're simply going to do is to lay them front sides together. I'll just take this one. Obviously, because your layer cake is already mixed, it doesn't really matter which color you go with first. The most important thing is make sure that your yardage is contrasting to your layer cake. So I'm going to go like so, and I'm simply just going to draw a line from point to point, and I'm simply going to just sew a hair off of that line. What did I do with my pen? Where I literally just had the pen a second ago. Literally a second ago. Right. So draw a line, point to point. This is a very beautiful quilt, guys. I know you're going to love it. Okay, so now that I've drawn my line, you're going to do that with all of your rectangles. And I'm simply just going to sew one stitch line all the way down there, literally a tiny hair mark away from that line. Once you've done that, you're going to end up with something like this. I'm going to bring 2 in so you can see what I'm referring to. You're going to end up with something like this. Obviously, you would have to fold it back, iron, and trim off the excess. Once you have your excess, I'm going to show you what you need to do with it. So your excess will look like this. So you're going to have a stack of half square triangles with the 2 colors. All right, so if I open this up, you would see that color there, and you would see that color there. And all I need you to do at some point is to stitch this down, okay? But we will come back to this project in a minute, so I'll leave that there. So once you have trimmed it off, you need to iron it back, and this is literally your block. All right, this is literally your block to start with. So get that done, then I'm going to show you the layout right now. So let's get. All right, so you can see my 2 stitch lines there. All I'm going to do now is fold this back so you can see that you literally got your pattern there for the quilt. And I'm just going to trim in between the lines, and then once I open this up, I will have my half square triangle already made, okay? But in all honesty, I have been just doing the 1 stitch, cut off, and then sit and chain piece my half square triangle. Either technique, it doesn't really matter. It really depends on what pleases you. I'm quite happy to sit and stitch it all over again. It doesn't really bother me, all right? So, but that is what I need you to do. So I'm going to get this completed, and let's move on now to literally laying it out and see what patterns we get. Alright guys, so I've put some ideas of the layout on the design board that I have here that I don't usually show you. So I've put the Kaufman fabric at the top so you can see all of them are pointing right. So that's one layout, okay? The other layout that I have done is with them like this one here. So it makes like a little bow. So that's another row. And then the other one that I particularly am more fond of is this one here, and I really like that one actually. So I do think I'm going to go with this sort of diamond sort of cut for the layout. But I mean, if you wanted to, you can simply choose all three of them and put them together. But I think I'm going to go for that one there. I do like that one. So I'm going to lay it out just like that. And then, yeah, I'll sew it together and then show you the outcome. Alright guys, so this is the layout. I must admit, I'm getting pretty excited about this quilt. I am so loving it. It looks really good. I'm happy I've chosen this layout actually. I just love it. Okay, so I'm going to stitch it all together. It hasn't been sewn together, it's just literally laid out here. And I just love it. It looks brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, let me get started and sew it together. Then I'll show you the results. Alright, so moving on to the second quilt now. So the balance of the layer cake that's left from the first quilt, and as well as using the scrap pieces from the cuts of the first quilt. So what I have done is use the balance to make a 4-patch. These are scrap pieces that we had the half square triangle, and I've sewed them together and border it, okay, to make these equal size. So that is the layout for that now. So I've just laid them out in alternative, as you can see there. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is to sew this together, may possibly add a border to it, may possibly not. I'm not sure how I feel at the moment, but let's see what happens. Alright guys, and then I will show you the outcome for both of them. Alright guys, so this is the quilt. This is the first quilt that's completed. You can see from the accent fabric, I get some diamond cuts and looks really gorgeous actually. I've used a nice really white strong border that complements the tone of the quilt, as well as using a really striking purple for the binding to really frame that quilt. This quilt comes about very quickly. It measures 50 by 60 and it's a beautiful quilt size. Just going to go in and show you the quilting patterns, and I've simply just used swirls for this one. So remember that, you know, it's really not necessary to use really sort of intricate quilting when the fabric is so colourful, because at the end of the day you're not really going to see it. But other than that, it looks really beautiful. Loving the pattern on this one, really lovely. Okay, on the back, really lovely print as well, and some of those prints echo what's in the actual cut for the 10-inch for the layer cake. But overall, very lovely. Can't really see much of it on the back here, but I did use a blue quilting thread on the back here, but you can see it probably if I slow it down when I move my hand. But really lovely guys, love this one. So again, the size is 50 by 60. What do you actually think of it? I think it's really lovely actually. Beautiful. All right, the border itself really frames it. I just love the border. The white complements it and tones it down a little bit. So there's not too much of those colors fighting with your eyes, so you cannot really see the diamond cuts for the accent fabric. Really beautiful. Alright, so let's move on to the next one now and have a look at it. Alright, so this is the other one now. Now what I really love about this quilt is that what I've done with the pattern is a darker print, and I've given myself an X in the middle of the layer. I just really love that. Really exciting. Now notice the random placement of the white with the hourglass blocks. Really lovely guys, yet simple and beautiful, and again using all of the prints from the fabric. Again on the border I use the same size border, and again that really striking purple background. Now do you think the quilts look really differently? I do. I mean, same prints, yet you can get the pattern using so differently from the quilt themselves. Okay, and I've added on some white to the squares again to really lift the contrast as well and to show off a different pattern within the quilt itself. For this one I just simply used meandering lines to get this one done. And again, the same applies. No need to do any intricate quilting pattern. And with quilts like these are the good quilts where there is so much contrast coming back at you. These are the quilts that you will literally do your practicing, your quilting, because the room for actually spotting your error is not really there because there's so many colors. But try these quilts out. I think you're going to enjoy making use of your layer cake and getting 2 quilts and using up the leftover fabrics as well at the same time. On the back, I've used that particular print that was on the first border, again at the back. Really, really lovely. This one is not actually in the layer cake themselves, okay, but absolutely gorgeous, guy. I just love that X in the middle there with the fabrics. Really, really beautiful. Really, really lovely. So which one do you prefer? Let me know. I would love to know which one that you prefer best. The first or the second. Absolutely gorgeous, yet they look so different. Very, very different. It's just interesting seeing them side by side. You can actually see how different patterns can yield a different quilt. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Do leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the quilt and the whole tutorial as well, and your experiences with using layer cake. Is there something you can actually do? So I'll see you in the next one. Happy quilting once again. Love you lots. Bye for now.